Welcome back, guys. On today's episode, we're going to do a bunch of interior work on Rum and Colt mobile bar. Let's get into it. So when we left off last night, I was going to wire some boxes and put up some pallet wood, but it was really cold and really windy, and we just decided to call it a night and pack up, so I'm going to jump into that today. So the first task today is going to be wiring these two boxes. I'm going to install a third one down here for the freezer plug, and then I also want to get the 4 hi-hats wired in so we could do a little test with an extension cord, make sure everything's right. And then I have a plug coming that you drill a hole through the side of the panel here, and it'll sandwich in here and run a power inlet into the inside of the trailer that's watertight. So I got one outlet in. I'm going to run the wire up and into this tray up here that we built, and then back down, tie it into this outlet, and then go down and put the third box and the third outlet down there. So I have all the boxes in. Gonna run some wire between them, and that'll wrap up the outlets, and then I gotta run from the switch to the lights on both sides, and we should be good. When we left off last week, I wired these boxes and put them up. We built these crown molding trays to hold the hi-hat lighting, and I started wiring all of the boxes and stuff. I just had to get one more box and the plug to come in that I ordered. It's here now, so I'm going to put that in, and then all these lights and outlets should work. And then we also picked up our freezer. So I'm going to jump into wiring and go from there. Let's see if they work. Don't do this at home. There they are. Woo! They all work. I just gotta wire them to the switch. How do you feel about the lights, Gabby? Woo! Here we go. So, I'm making this backing plate just out of a piece of plywood, so when we plug and unplug the trailer, we don't actually pull the plug out because this is just sheet metal. So I'm going to drill a hole quick in this and then screw it up on the inside, and it gives it something to screw into. Alright, so I'm going to slide the plug through and then screw it in, and then we can wire it into the box and we'll have power.
Cool.
Yeah. So I wrapped up, I cut the end off the plug and I wired it into the junction box. So now we have our outlets wired on the back of the bar and underneath for the fridge. And then we have our switch wired with the 4 hi-hat lights. So I'm going to plug this in. And then just like that, you have power in the trailer. Now I'm just going to clean up really quick, and then we can start putting up the pallet wood on the back wall, and it'll actually look like that. So I don't know if you guys have ever taken apart one of these pallets. It's literally impossible. I don't know what they use. They must use ring nails or something, but it's impossible to pull the boards up off of the base plates. Something to hit from in hindsight, looking back at this, I'm such a knucklehead. So that went on for about an hour and a half, which was about an hour and a half too long. And then one of my buddies saw the Instagram post that we were working on it and what we were doing, and you'll see in the next clip what he told me to do. So this way is a lot easier. My buddy texted me after seeing a post on Instagram that I was beating everything off like a gorilla, and using the Sawzall is much faster and much less work. Thanks, Chris. So last night I pulled all the nails out of this stuff. I'm going to try and rip it down on the table saw now and make it into at least somewhat square pieces so it's a little bit easier to work with. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it doesn't splinter and hit me in the face. Finally get to do the fun part. Of course, when I bought all the brad nails for this job, I didn't account that each piece of wood is a different thickness depending on which pallet you take it from. So it was a little bit of trial and error here. I ended up switching to a pin nailer here rather than the brad nails because the brad nail gun was actually leaving the imprint of, I guess, the hammer that hits the nail in, and it left like a visual mark on there. So the pin nail shoots just literally what it says it is, a tiny little pin-sized nail in, and didn't leave any kind of imperfection on the surface. So it came out much nicer. So make it slow and steady progress. It's looking pretty good. Cutting around the outlets is a little bit of a pain, but I think it'll come out really nice.
Lightning strikes by my window. Hits my chest right in the morning. Like a warning. Could have slept here for days. I felt your heartbeat, felt your mouth breathe.
One down.
Close to see the sun, but clouds got in our way, and so
two down. I can poke it in. Just wanted to take advantage of it being dark out and get a picture of it with the lights on inside. It looks awesome. So we're going to wrap up tonight and clean up, and we're going to start fresh in the morning.
I'm starting to believe
wrapped up the backsplash, and I think it looks awesome. So now I'm just gonna throw the outlet covers on, and then I'm gonna get to work on putting some plywood in, and so we can mount up the fenders. What are you doing? I said what I was doing. You heard me on the video, didn't you? So we ended up not doing the fenders and took advantage of having everything out and did the pallet wood on the serving window. So enjoy the farmhouse goodness. So I'm glad I took that plywood down in hindsight, because this pallet wood definitely adds up. It's a little bit heavy, but not too bad. So when we left off yesterday, I was going to start working on the fenders, but I decided to start working on this. I'm going to wrap this up right now, and then I'm going to get to working on the fenders. And it's done. So I wrapped up both sides of the pallet wood, and I think it looks really, really good. I'm going to start doing the inner wood support on either side for the mounting the new fenders, and then I could close up the rest of these walls on both sides and get to framing out the bars. So these fenders came in the mail the other day. I just based them off of what was on here, and I took the measurement of the total length of the fender, and then as well as the depth of the fender, and then I ordered them from, I forget what the name of the company was, I'll put the link in the description below, but they're really nice quality, nice thick flange. So I'm going to get to marking out some holes to put some stainless screws in, and then I could see where they're going to fall on the trailer itself, so I can put a plywood backer and have something to screw into. If you don't have one of these center punches that you don't need a hammer to hit the back of to make a center mark, definitely get one. I highly recommend it. This one's from Starrett. Works awesome. So I'm a little bit of not very bright. I was thinking about it. The trailer's on the ground, but the ground is sloped, so the axles are actually at different heights right now. So by placing the board across and then marking everything up, this fender would have followed, I guess, the driveway slope rather than the actual line of the trailer. So what I did was I found a good amount of space. I left like 4 inches between the tire and the fender, and then I measured the bottom lip in comparison to the frame rail, and I measured the top flat portion of the fender at the front and the back to the seam on the aluminum panel, and it's within 1/8 of an inch, so I think that's pretty good. I don't think you're going to notice that. This was definitely a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a nice, simple, easy thing, but it also stresses me out drilling holes in brand new aluminum sheeting that if I mess up, I'm kind of screwed. So measure a bunch of times and drill once.
Think about me one more time before you go. Someday.
So I'm pretty happy so far. I cut out this 3/4 inch plywood, and then I put pocket holes and screwed it into the studs on either side and made it flush with the panel, and it's definitely made it much more rigid from the outside. And then it also gives me something to screw the fenders in with underneath. And I'm actually using these big stainless steel, I think they're number 14 or something, stainless steel coarse thread screws to go right into the plywood. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to caulk around the whole, or silicone around the whole top of the fender and underneath, so that no water could get in from either side. So I think it should be pretty good. It's coming out real nice. Up this side, all the screws are in, fits really nice. Can't wait to get the other side done and get the new wheels put on. So on the inside, I know the plywood's not all even, so it looks a little weird, but I'm using up the remainder that I had for the subfloor. That's why it's painted black. It's just, I didn't want to obviously just throw it away. It's good 3/4 inch plywood. So I'm going to do the same on the other side, and then we could get to closing up the walls in here. So when we left off during the week, I mounted the passenger side fender up, and now I'm going to get to working on the driver's side fender. I have to put these block out pieces of wood in here so that I have something to screw the fender into. So I'm going to get going on cutting those pieces out. So now really quick, I just got to peel off this plastic because on the other side I forgot to, and I ended up having to take the fender back off, and then I got to take the plastic covering on the fender itself off as well on the back lip so that there's not two pieces of the packing plastic stuck in between. So see how long this takes. It was a pain last time. So I got this side all mocked up. This one was a lot easier because I already had the measurements. So I'm just going to drill the holes to mount them and screw it in, and we're done with it. Of course, I drilled the last two holes toward the front, and one fell right behind this box, and the other one is right on the edge of the piece of plywood. So I'm going to have to pop this box out and just put a bigger piece of plywood straight down. So I got the fender all mounted up. All the screws are in now. I ended up having to put a new piece of plywood in here that was a little bit bigger, so I had some place to screw into. It wouldn't be a typical Saturday without having to redo something from the week before, but it's in now. So now I think we're going to take advantage of this beautiful day we're having and go for a bike ride or just do something outside, because other than work on the trailer, because it's perfect out. You guys enjoyed the footage of the bike ride at the end. We got a long 3-day weekend coming up, and I can't wait to share with you all the work we get done. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.